All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This is the Equinox ceremony. We just entered a new season. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, spring has arrived in the middle of the night last week on the Pacific Coast. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, autumn arrived. So we will see. I'm here with my friend Carrie, and I'm expecting a couple of other friends. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're gonna celebrate the equinox anyway. So I'm gonna share my screen because I like to start by making sure everybody has all of the things that we're gonna need for the ceremony. So this is what we're doing. The purpose of celebrating an equinox is to take advantage of the energy that is in balance at the 4 points of the year. So solstices and equinoxes are the 4 points of the year, and this helps us with clarity about our purpose. So that's always nice. These are the things that we're going to be working with. We're going to have a scarf because we're going to move around a little bit. I have a rattle, but that's not necessary because I'm going to play some music. If you have a journal, that would be important because we're going to do a little meditation after we move around a little bit. And then you can write down anything that you want to remember about the intention that came up. So we're going to start by lighting a candle. So I've got this is like it usually works. Okay, yes, it does work. Okay, and then here is my candle. So I'm holding the light. This is the beautiful spring light. This is the sun at 0 degrees Aries right now, starting a brand new astrological year. So that's what this light is holding. And then if you want to clear your aura, this is a selenite wand that I use. If you don't have that, if you have essential oils or something, this is an aura clearing spray. And then we want to get our water ready for that part of the ceremony. So we're going to take any sacred water that we have. This happens to be from Chalice Wells. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops, not the whole bottle, just a couple of drops. And now what that did was it sanctified my entire glass of drinking water right here. If you don't have any sacred water from anywhere in the world, then you just can do Reiki symbols if you know Reiki, or if you just want to do a spiral, that'll work. So what you're doing is your intention to sanctify that water. You just take a moment to do that. And it's your intention is the most powerful thing, not if you have the most expensive tools to do it. So that's that. And everybody should have collected all their stuff by now. If you're watching the replay, you can stop and go and get all the stuff if you need to. But here is what I like to do. I like to make sure everybody knows this isn't just me. I invite the angels to come in and help me. And so we're going to sing them in from 7 directions. I'm going to start over here. Carrie knows this. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. So here we go. This is East for me. So I'm going to start singing in the archangels. Spirits of the East. Archangel Raphael, please come. Spirits of Spirit, Archangel Raphael, please come. Spirits of Angel Gabriel, please come. Spirits, Spirit, Archangel Uriel, please come. Spirits of angels and golden, please come. Spirits, perspective change. Oh, angel, please come. Johanna, please go. Okay, thank you. And now we're going to stay standing to open our 7 chakras. So we're going to the root chakra, and this one is Lam, Them, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, Om. So that's what we're going to call in here. I'm over here on the harmonium. Okay, notice if you feel any tingling, if you feel any of those chakras coming in stronger than any other. What happens when we vocalize the chakras, there's a lot of chakras in the throat, and that helps us open up all of the chakras when we do those sound clearings. So where are we on the soul portal map? We are in the brand new, we're in a perspective change because we just changed the season. So we've been in in the northern hemisphere, we've been like a winter of potentiality. And so stepping into spring early this morning kind of goes like that. I have a whole bunch of tarot cards here that I was pulled to go through in the next couple of days, because we've got a new moon ceremony coming up on Wednesday. So this card seems to be the one that wants to come in. I mean, this equinox is all about the sun, so it makes sense that I pulled this. And it's the sun moving into 0 degrees Aries that says, oh, brand new year, brand new astrological year. The season of spring starts it. And this angel that's related to the sun, this is the tarot card related to the sun, is the sun card in the tarot, but it's also Archangel Uriel. Not Ariel with an A, but Uriel with a U, the powerful solar plexus, sun, will, essence of you card. So that's what we're pulling as a perspective change. We're tracking the sun now. We're looking at the sun, and we're paying attention to where it goes. So really, we're celebrating the sun's journey. We also have, not only are we starting that, we're starting a new season, we're starting a new year, but we're starting a new 13-day evolutionary cycle of being energy. And so our being evolutionary guidance energy is a period of enhanced creativity to help deal with underlying insecurities that cause a false sense of separation. Because we know we're really in a unity, and so if our mind is creating separations due to judgment or whatever, or stories or old patterns, then we know that we're working with our being energy, as opposed to running around doing a whole bunch of stuff, throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing if anything sticks. So we are in this, I've got the hands are like this. And so this is the hands are at the core of us. And it's those chakras, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart that kind of woke up and are working together again. And so that's what she's kind of holding, the energy from those 3 chakras and just being. So we're going to check in with our beingness our soulful self after we move around a little bit. We're going to sit down, do a meditation, and check in with our soulful guidance. And like I said, this is an absolutely amazing time to do that. Why soulful guidance? One sees clearly only with the heart. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes. So again, our perspective is changing. Look around, look for evidence of spring if you don't feel it yet. I mean, we've had a couple of nice days, but it rained this morning, but it still feels like spring. It started to feel like spring 2 days ago where I am. So we've got all of this one's seeing with the heart. So the mind gets to go on vacation during the meditation, and we focus on what's going on with the heart. And then at the very, very, very end, we'll tell the mind what little baby step it can take to help support the guidance of the heart. So here we are, 4 points of the year, find our balance and get clarity on our current purpose. So here's the Earth's equinoxes and solstices. So I'm going to pull this out a little bit more. So we can kind of see what the sun is doing. We know that the Earth is on an axis, and we know that it is tilted at an angle for the March equinox, which is what we're in right now, at 23.4 degrees. Okay, and it's going to take it took it 89 days to get from the December solstice up to the March equinox. So this is 4 points. And on equinox, the March and the September equinox, we have equal days of daylight and day and night, sunlight. And so we've got 12 hours of sun, ideal, and 12 hours of dark, as opposed to if we're close to the equator, we're within an equator range. If we're way, way north, there's a lot more sunlight and a lot more dark. Or if we're really extreme in the southern hemisphere, we'll have it. We won't have that sense of equality, but the most equal days of light and dark are in the March and September equinoxes. And then the June solstice is where we're headed in the northern hemisphere. We're all headed here, but it's September equinox in the southern hemisphere. Their new season that they're bringing in is autumn. So any questions on this and what an equinox is? Harry's pretty smart. She probably knows a lot more than just this. She's like nodding her head. Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is what it looks like on an astrological chart with most of the planets. We can see these are the signs right here. The sun has been in Pisces, and the sun just moved early this morning. This is the little glyph for the sun. These are glyphs for all the planets. Here's the sun, just moved into 0 degrees, 00 minutes in Aries. And we can tell all of these little signs are Aries. And we've got Aries here, we've got Aries here. We still have Neptune and the moon in Pisces, but the moon tomorrow is going to join the sun, and then we're going to have a new moon in Aries. And so that's going to be exciting. So we have from now until tomorrow, or the next day really, to create our new moon intentions. So hopefully you guys are watching it within the new moon time frame, and we can think about our intentions for the entire year, not just this month right now. So we've got a really close conjunction with Mercury, which is the planet of communication. Mercury just crossed over the sun, had a meeting with the sun while they were both in Pisces, and then Mercury went ahead of the sun and to enter the sign of Aries. And so the sun was following Mercury into the sign of Aries. Now for Mexico and San Diego, where Carrie is, this is all happening in the ninth house. And the ninth house is the house of spirituality and academia and philosophy and religion and all of those kinds of things. So this is kind of interesting, new beginnings in these areas of life. So that's an equinox. We've got all of these energy lines. The lesson lines that we work to resolve tensions are the red lines, and then the flowing graceful lines are the blue lines. So we've got some beautiful, looks like we've got a trine from the sun to the ascendant where Carrie and I are, and it might not be the same for everybody, but that's a really beautiful flowing graceful energy that's opening up the year for us, opening up Leo, the essence of us, and Aries taking action, moving forward in the practical world with inspiration. So that's kind of what's in the sky. And if you notice this right here, this is Pluto. And if you've been listening to any astrologers, you know they got all excited over two things. One, this guy over here, Saturn, just moved from Aquarius, where he's been for 2.5 years, into Pisces. You can see he's only 1 degree of Pisces right now. He's been in Pisces since March 7th, or around there, depending on your time zone. So that's, everybody got excited. So you may have been feeling a really different energy lately. I know I have, and I've been adjusting to it and hearing some truths I didn't expect. It's like I'm so open to hearing truths, and then when I hear them, I'm just like, oh my gosh. So and then it takes an adjustment and change to say, okay, well, I'm like, this is how I am. I keep unfolding. It's a constant unfolding. It's not necessarily an arrival. It's more of okay, so now this is what I'm doing. Oh, this goes on the back burner. I'm not going to throw it out completely, but this is what's happening now. And when Pluto, Pluto has been in Capricorn for 15 years. Guess when Pluto changed signs? 2008. Guess what happened in 2008? Financial collapse all over the world with the banking system. Guess what's happening now? Several banks are in deep trouble. And, if you haven't heard about the bank in Silicon Valley, you're probably not from the United States, but apparently the Swiss bank also had issues, and there's another bank that had issues also. So this is just Pluto changing signs. I was thinking, oh, this is Pluto in Capricorn. Well, Pluto is hanging on to the very, very last degrees of Capricorn. And so it'll be interesting in 3 days, March 23rd, when Pluto actually makes it into the sign of Aquarius. And then things will shift, and Pluto will be digging into the depths of shadows of Aquarius. And we've already kind of seen some of them with AI art ripping off artists and things like that. That's kind of the shadow of Aquarius, because Aquarius is technology and robotics and technology, things like that. And so we've already seen some issues, shadow issues around that, but we've also seen that some light sides of Aquarius, where there's a desire for more cooperation and an intolerance of hierarchical and authoritarian systems. So we're seeing different things, and people are awakening to new energies at different rates. So some people are upset about what other people are noticing. So it's just an exercise in patience and tolerance. So here we go. That's what's going on in the sky. There's also an invitation. My friend, one of my buddies, told me I started doing new moon wishes about 10 years ago, and she would tell me that on the Aries to make a wish on every new moon. Okay. And I kind of changed that around, because when I was making wishes for what I wanted to manifest in my daily life, every single thing that came in that I had wanted turned out to be completely wrong for me. And I just said, okay, surrender. I'm going to check in with my soulful self, and I'm going to let my feminine guide and my receiving energy guide me here on what I should be running around doing. So, but the time to do the treasure map for the whole year is right now, just before the Aries new moon. So it's a fresh start with new energy, a new moon coming. You can either create a poster, like here's my poster from last year that I had posted in my house. I had this posted in my bedroom so that I could see it all the time. I had it kind of on the bottom rung of my altar. And a lot of this stuff came true and some of it didn't. So some of it's is on this new chart. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of little pieces of paper falling off of the whole thing. And I don't get around to go get magazines anymore. So I just did this one on Canva, which is like a online photo collage thing. And then the photos, these are the photos from Canva, and I'm thinking of going back and actually putting in my own photos for these. But you can use any configuration, as many different pictures as you want. Some of these things I'm already doing a lot of. Some of these things I had in there last year. But I put a stage on there this year, so we'll see what happens with all of that. I've got astrology on here. I've got angels on here. I've got health and eating well and exercising. And I've got kind of inspirational orbs here. But this is like my husband and I have this on our wall. This is our cycling. And we're like, these are the things that we want to bring in. And we put this up. And then a couple months later, we actually got the money to go to Arthur Findlay College. That's the two of us in front of the college. And now we're going to go there for a couple of weeks. So that's exciting. So it's interesting, as some of these fall off the wall, they start to come true. It's like we had a seawall to protect our house fall off. And then we found out that the actual city where we live is asking for money from the state, Baja California Norte, to build seawalls, and our neighborhood was one of the ones that's going to be getting a seawall. And if that doesn't work out, the people in our building are all on board with, that happening, protecting our house on the ocean. So these are all things. And of course, we've got Hablamos Español, and we put it on there, and I'm just like, honey, I'm not going to be able to learn Spanish. And I just don't have time. I have too much to do. And he's like, dude, you don't even work. I'm like, yeah, I do. I have clients all the time. He's like, but I finally, am able to learn Spanish. And so we're hoping that in the next 2 months, we're going to go in and talk to the officials and see if we can get passports for Mexico. And we'll keep our passport for the United States. So that's our plan. Okay, so now we're getting ready for the meditation. And so one of the things that we can do, we're about to do some movement. One of the things we can do, since we are working with balance of light in the hemispheres, is to kind of do this yoga pose that is the tree pose. So having one foot up. If you can't get your foot all the way up, you can put it like against your ankle. But just the idea that all of your weight is in one foot and the other foot is up it's propped up either by your knee or by your ankle. And then you can bring that energy down. And then the other, it maybe sometimes if it's more solid, if you put your hands here first and then move the other foot up to the knee or move it to the ankle, and then move your hands up to feel the balance of being on just one foot. So this is called the tree pose. It's a balance pose, and it's something that we can explore as we move to the music I'm going to play in a minute. Another thing we can explore is this energy of Aries. So I've got all of these stars in Aries coming this way and down. So I'm feeling an extension. My arms want to extend to Aries and then come down with these two stars. So these are the stars in the constellation of Aries. The sun is getting information now from the constellation of Aries. It just started doing that. So this is kind of a pattern, and you don't have to be stuck with it. You can be fluid with it. And then the eye of the heart is this little space within the circles of the heart. This is the Vesica Pisces. So when I say Vesica Pisces, this is what I'm talking about. And so that's when we get to the meditation. And so we should have our water ready and sanctified. And I am going to turn on, Carrie, you have any questions while I'm turning on the music here? Okay, let's see. Okay, here's our song. Okay, so if you can get ready to sit down for the meditation and have your feet on the floor, that would be good. Make sure you have your journal next to you. So with the feet on the floor, we know that we can connect to the energy of the earth. So we just danced with the stars. Now we're connecting to the earth. Inhaling that earth energy into our feet and up our legs and up our spine into our heart chakra. Exhaling anything we no longer need out the top of our head. Old ideas, old habits, old stories. And we can open up into the new, beautiful Aries energy, the new season, the new spring, the new life starting, and bring that energy into our heart chakra. And we're feeling a mix of this sky energy and this earth energy in the heart chakra. And we can place our hands on our heart and take our first intentional breath to feel the Vesica Pisces, to feel that intersection in our heart, that eye of the needle. And now we take a second intentional breath and we feel this vortex behind the heart chakra, and we enter from behind our heart into the middle of our heart, meeting in this Vesica Pisces, center of the heart within the heart. And then we take our last intentional breath and we move through the eye of the needle. We move through the Vesica Pisces into our soulful guidance. And we ask, how can I be more balanced? How can we be more balanced in our lives, balancing all the areas of our life? How can we bring our lives into more balance? And so the answer may come in a color, a word, a question, a sentence, images. There's many ways it could come. Just accept whatever feeling arises and keep asking that question, how am I bringing in more balance? And now I ask if there is a baby step that I can do to help me bring my life into more balance. Now, if there is something that you want to write down in your journal, you can also ask who is going to help me with this. If you have a spirit guide, your higher self, an archangel, is there any person living or crossed into the spirit side who can help you with this? Okay, and when you have your baby step and you have your intention, you have the feeling that the baby step came out of, then you drink the water, thinking about that intention the entire time. So this is the sacred water. You're going to bring your sacred feeling, your intention, along with your baby step. And now if you have a higher power or a being that's going to help you with your intention, I'm asking for the ocean today because I need more sand on my beach to help me commit to more exercise, and walking on the beach would balance me. So I'm going to take a bite of my chocolate with asking for the ocean's help. So whatever being makes the most sense for you, go ahead and you're asking and communing with that being. So I am thanking the ocean for working with me. And so Carrie, if you would like to share anything, now would be a good time.
Wow, thank you for that meditation. That just took me a whole lot of places.
Okay,
And I could really get to that center of the heart, the eye of the heart.
good.
And before you said eye of the heart, I was just sort of in a big empty circle. And as soon as I moved into that eye of the heart, it turned, sort of bluish green, teal. And I'm like, wow, this was really cool. And it filled up this whole space, and just more and more colors started coming through. I really enjoyed that part of it. And then the step was a gift in flow. And it was almost like a hula movement of where you would step and intentionally give something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a gift in flow was the words that I got. I thought that was really interesting. And it was something about giving to complete a cycle. And
Beautiful.
that my resistance prevents a complete cycle of things coming, of flow coming to me. And so me giving away creates this, cycle coming back to me, which was really good. And surprisingly, the person that was the guy that was going to help me was my father, who passed recently, who's probably the least likely person to teach anyone about flow or about not being in resistance. But now that he's on the other side, I feel like this is like the exact person that would be learning about releasing resistance and about really getting flow going. So I'm looking forward to that experience.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. So wow, I'm sorry about your loss of your father, but I'm so happy that you know he's working with you. So two things
Yes.
coming in at the same time, because it's the relationship changes. And
Yes.
I know my relationship with my father changed when he crossed over to the other side, and he's helping me in a lot of in different ways. He likes to help me with money. So if I've got money in the mail, I always say, "Thank you, Dad." So
Yeah.
there's different things that, my father was, weaker in, and those are some of the things that he's helping me with. So that is beautiful that that you can learn flow, not from somebody that has flow naturally, but from somebody that didn't.
Hmm.
Mhm. Because if you didn't have it and you had to learn it, you know all the steps to get there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yep. I sort of had to go all the way through it to learn the whole process. And so
Mhm.
this should really be good. And thank you again. That was wonderful.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, and I, for me, what came through for more balance, I knew the exercise piece was going to come through, but what I didn't realize was that the different vibrational frequencies, like I started listening to this music that has different hertz, and each of the different um vibrational frequencies help with a different state, like beta, theta, gamma, delta, all these different states. And you know, I see that and I'm like, oh, okay, let me just skip all the way over here to the end and do the really deep stuff. And it just like, that's maybe not the exact thing that I need to do this work over here. Maybe I need to be, and maybe I do need to be in beta sometimes, so I'm like getting help from these different vibrational frequencies, listening to the whole range as I go through my day, instead of just staying in the deep end of the pool all the time. That kind of gives me more balance. And I recently had a thing where I realized that I was being a snob by how deep I was. And, I really just need to have more balance in my own life. And then I can meet people in life who just like come to me saying, I want a reading. If somebody doesn't want to go deep into their soul, I was like, I don't even want to deal with this person. But I had a really lovely time with somebody that didn't want to go deep, had some very um worldly questions, and we went through a chart and we looked at the whole thing, and it was just very lovely. And I didn't I so now I'm like, I don't have to be a deep end of the pool snob anymore. I can just, you know, and whoever shows up and thinking that they can receive something from me, it's like I'll just try and deal with them where they're at or where they're coming from. My husband has a talent for doing that. He's very good at that, but me not so much. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And so that's something that my whole hubris about, oh, I'm so deep, just had to go lately, and that was kind of hard, but it's good, because what happens is that we can open and be of service to more people and not judge what kind of service we're giving, at least for me. But anyway, some people need to go more deep. I used to say that all the time. I used to try to invite people, you need to do, I'm going to change the whole world, make everybody deeper so that it's more comfortable for me. No, so people can understand me. No, just let people be where they are. That's part of acceptance anyway. But Carrie, you have anything you'd like to say in conclusion? Anything else come to you?
I really liked the point about this equinox being in balance. And I
Mhm.
really feel a difference, especially when we're doing the movement part, of feeling like there was more flow, there was more balance than the last time that we met. I don't know, that was the new moon or something. Um, and or full moon. I can't remember which one, but it there was a certain kind of unbalance, a certain sort of potential to it because it was unbalanced, but
Mhm.
I didn't feel like there was the same sort of flow that there was today. And the energy feels new, it feels crisper, and it definitely feels like it's flowing in a balanced way, that you don't have to make a big dip in order to to cause things to start flowing. And so that was really interesting,
That's,
that I could actually feel the difference.
that's beautiful. And it, I think a lot of what you might be feeling is the fact that we are doing this ceremony on the day of the equinox, when that
Yes.
balance energy is there. So what happens is that now that we've done ceremony, that we've done movement on an equinox or a solstice day, then it's like, oh, this is balance. Oh, okay. So what can I do to maintain this kind of balance? Oh, okay. And you just, get another piece of what we can do to maintain a sense of balance in our life all the time. And then we'll have something new come in at the solstice. And it's just kind of reflect in and have another balance day coming up at the June solstice.
Mm-hmm. It was almost like we were getting a sample of
Mhm.
what that energy could be like if we work on our balance for ourselves. Okay.
Right, right. So that's why I had to have a ceremony today, even though in 2 days I'm having a new moon ceremony. And tomorrow there is a new moon, and so I'm going to share my screens because I'm going to invite everybody to that new moon ceremony. It's like, so it's the 22nd at noon Pacific. So that would be Wednesday at noon. And we're going to do a meditation to discover what is being conceived within us on a soul level, what is being birthed. So this is do a new moon ceremony the day after the new moon every month. So this is something that I do on a monthly basis. Um, I am also going to be doing a full moon ceremony coming up and in April. And we're actually having 2 new moons in Aries this month. This one in Aries is like at 1 degree, and the second one is at 29 degrees of Aries. So it's just like we have 13 moons a year, and this year we have 2 in Aries. So that's going to be our next new moon. So it'll be kind of interesting to compare the new moon in Aries that has to do with the equinox, and then the end of Aries, and how that might feel different. So that'll be interesting. Because Aries is a very, let's get started, let's get going, let's get practical. Another thing that's happening is March 23rd. I'm not doing a ceremony, but that's when you see this little Pluto, he's moving right into Aquarius. And we can see that all of this Aries stuff is happening in our second house of what we value, or whatever abundance we're trying to call in. So that'll be nice. And the ascendant is right with Saturn in Pisces. So Wednesday is going to be a really interesting day. Be sure and meditate and write or journal or do something. Now, meditation can be anything. It can be walking on the beach. It can be doing yoga. There's a lot of different things that meditation can be. So whatever it is for you, do it. Because this is a really powerful day. Pluto was stuck in Capricorn for 29 years. Now we get to see 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius. Because Pluto doesn't, his orbit is so weird that he doesn't stay the same in all the signs. So if you want to check out my website, I hold the light as you open the portal to your soul and access your deep wisdom. Maybe I should change that now that I'm not a deep wisdom snob. But anyway, this is my, just looked at, this is like everything's always up for change. You have to like constantly rethink everything. But this is my website. It's just reneevarnador.com. So really easy to remember. Just see, there's my name, reneevarnador.com. Easy peasy. And we're going to sing, Carrie and I are going to sing us out. This is our song. And Carrie was talking about a circle, and now she's got all these colors and coming in the circle. I love it. This is awesome. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. Okay, thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in a future ceremony. Love you guys.